We're taking some heavy firepower here. We need some backup.
Tony is on his way.
Sorry I'm late. The cavalry is here. Cover my 6. I'll handle the rest. You expect me to take orders from a man wearing underpants made out of iron? Oh, what's a puny little rocket like that going to do? Lead the way, sir. My new mentor, Captain Iron Underpants. Hello and welcome back to the KenOhwee Channel. Today we'll be talking about the 112 Collective Iron Man action figure from Mezco Toyz, a toy line which has proven more and more difficult for me to collect due to availability, pricing, shipping times, and Australian taxes. Man, it's hard to collect action figures in Australia. It's like the land where a toy collector's dream go to die. Anyway, that's another subject for another day. Today, I'm interested to see how Mezco managed to pull off an action figure for the first time without having to use cloth as a material. Let's take a closer look. I'll be honest, I've never been a big fan of the classic Iron Man look. I prefer the modern designs where they don't have the iron underwear, but this figure just looks fantastic, and this figure converted me. Maybe it's the additional lines on the armor, as I remember the comic was clean, so the underwear was more noticeable, but Mezco sort of made it look more modern with the addition of those details. They even took the trouble to paint the little bitty exposed area of the repulsor on his fists, which a lot of toy companies would simply ignore, so kudos to the painting team. At the back, you can remove this huge back piece, and of course, light test in 3, 2, 1. And the camera may not be able to capture how bright this is, but it's almost bright enough to look for missing accessories in dark corners. And unscrew this panel so you could place 2 LR626 batteries, which Mezco were nice enough to provide you with a pair so you don't have to get your butt off, take your keys, drive all the way to the hardware store, find a pair of batteries, drive all the way back, found out you purchased the wrong battery size, you bought the LR621s, not the 626, so you gotta get your butt off again, and
a few moments later,
you get the picture. Basically, Mezco just saved all that trouble, so thank you, Mezco. His helmet can be removed, so saves them the trouble of adding an additional head, and I'm good with this. It seems like it's clipped on, but somehow it's staying on, for now. And inside of his visor, there's a sticker with all the Iron Man AI stuff, which I thought was a very nice little detail which they added, until I realized that it's used to conceal a magnet behind it, which allows this visor to be attached to the top of the helmet. And it's not a really strong magnet, but it does stay stuck to the helmet despite some pressure, and this gimmick right here is simply amazing, and all Iron Man figures should adopt this mechanic. A clever idea from Mezco, and the face sculpt to me is fantastic as well. They even sculpted the inner bodysuit on his head. This figure is also pretty heavy. There's a lot of die cast metal on him. I know the body and legs are die cast just by being cold to the touch compared to the rest, and the forearm seems to have it as well, but I'm not too sure entirely. So yeah, a very weighty figure, which is good in terms of stability, but I am curious to see if the joints can withstand the weight in the future, or will this figure just get really loose because of all that? Only time will tell. For his articulation, head and neck on a ball joint, so moving around no problem, and for an Iron Man figure, he passes the looking up really high test. No butterfly joints whatsoever, but you have the generic 360 arms, move outwards, bicep twist, bicep flex, which only does slightly more than a 90-degree bend, forearm rotation, wrist twist, up and down, mid-ab cut which can twist around a little, and side to side as well. Waist doesn't twist much or at all, but it can crunch a little, so all together with the upper ab he can crunch that far and arch backwards as well. Legs can be pulled down, split that much. He can kick up higher if his legs are pulled down, so the legs won't get hindered by the armor. Thigh swivel, knee bends more than the elbow, calf rotation, feet moves up and down only a little, and side to side pivot that much, so not a lot of feet movement. Overall, a lot of hindered movements, especially on the major continents, but they compensated that with more minor cuts along the limbs. But it's sufficient enough for him to pull off the classic Iron Man pose, so that's good enough for me. Moving towards his armory, he comes equipped with fists, hands to grab something, and of course the typical Iron Man blasting hands, which has a hole carved out but painted so it's not so much of an eyesore. And of course the package comes with a pair of repulsive blast effects, extends to about that far, and of course you could also pack the blast off effects on his hands. And you have 2 pairs of these which can also be packed to the bottom of his foot for his flying poses. It's old tech, that's why he needed 2 per feet. Other accessories also includes flares shooting out from his pouches, which can be packed off, and you can swap it around depending on which direction you want the flares to shoot out from. You got teeny tiny rockets shooting out, which can be packed into the little hole on his forearm. And of course, the main event, his uni-beam effect, which can be packed by removing this arc reactor piece and align the accessory accordingly and peg it in. And being translucent, you can turn the light on and it lights up the accessory as well, though the camera may not be able to capture it, but I can assure you it is well lit. This goes to show without the cap how bright this light is. And as with every other Mezco Toyz accessory, you got a stand designed according to the featured characters and a seal bag to store all your accessories so you don't lose any of them. And here is the classic Iron Man standing next to other action figures for scale comparison. So, in summary, I would have coined this the best classic Iron Man action figure of all time, if the articulation had been better. It's just a shame, really. This figure was given the right amount of accessories, and the gimmicks on this figure was simply brilliant. I wish more action figures incorporate ideas like these, and this figure looks absolutely amazing. But man, if only his articulation was a little bit better. That concludes my review of this figure. Leave a like if you enjoyed the review, subs if you like more videos like these in your feed, and share with me your thoughts of this action figure in the comment section down below. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Click here for video 1. Click here for video 2. Click here to subscribe. Click it. Thank you for watching. Arigato. Thank you.